Okay, welcome to Chapter 2, everybody. After Party number 19.
This one's so far a real page turner.
How about 19s? 19 work for you?
So back after a little break after the holidays, we had some time off, little recap episodes going on, which had some was pretty good. Anybody want to talk about the recaps at all, since we haven't really been on mic since we've done those?
It's been a long time.
Yeah. I thought they went well. They seem to be very popular. People are eating them up. So that's good to see.
Well, hopefully some people listening to this have started with the recaps. Maybe they can let us know if it actually worked the way we wanted them to.
Yeah.
Because they were a fucking bitch to put together.
Yeah, I think we had the easy job and Leland had the hard job.
As usual.
I think all the hard work you put into it paid off, because I think it's a really good. It definitely serves the purpose that they're there for. It's a great synopsis of a ton of content. Really, like, it's impressive that we were able to crunch it into 2 short episodes like that.
We liked it so much we started doing intros like that.
Yeah, exactly. I was very worried that it would be crazy long and really struggled with making something like concisely conveying some of the bigger points of the story so far, but still making it so it didn't read like I was reading a checklist. Like bullet points of went here, okay, then they went here, then they went there, then they fought this, then they met that.
But there's still a lot that you wouldn't know everything if you only listened to the recap. So you really should go back and start at chapter 1 or the very first episode.
Yeah, there is a ton of interesting and funny details that you just don't get with the recap. And there wasn't a way to put them in, right? Otherwise it would have been 5 hour, 6 hour recap.
You can't reproduce that.
No, you just can't.
I'm hoping that some people will listen to the recaps and be like, "Oh, this is a fun show. I want to hear this stuff firsthand and go back and listen to it," because I've re-listened to all of our older episodes and there's a ton of awesome storytelling and funny crap that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to a bunch of them like as I was preparing the recap, right? And a lot of the dialogue in there was quotes from you guys from the episode.
Yeah, I remember being like, Bryn wouldn't say that. And you're like, literally,
That's
Bryn
exactly
said that.
what you said.
You're like, I just quoted you. I'm like, dang it.
No, I was super happy with them. I think you guys all did excellent with your voiceover work with your lines as well. Everything turned out really well.
That was fun. I enjoyed doing that. So, it was a good memory jogger for me, because I forgot a lot of the stuff you went over.
So we took a break from playing as well, like a little bit, couple weeks over Christmas, and we came back to how Chapter 2 opens. That is that is the start of a play session.
Yeah.
That's right. So, Chapter 2, episode 57, starts out in the cave with Wes fighting Gozer, Thuft, Brindle, and Uncle Vanette. Sorry, Uncle Vanette.
The anti-party.
And,
Yeah.
And, I was pretty much thinking that might be a TPK there for a little bit.
I hear you. I was
It was not looking good.
Yeah.
You know what? That fight had so many ups and downs, because the first 2 big things that happened to that, like AoE stuff that they used, you all saved on. Like Brendel's Screech, Vanette's Breath Weapon, Thuff's Fear Gaze. I mean, half of you saved on that. But like, you guys were saving like crazy. Oh, the Fireball too. The 3 of you, everybody but Shav, like saved easily and took half. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, they're gonna mop up. Nothing's happening to them.
Well, then Evard's Black Tentacles came out, and the tables turned.
Yeah, well, that just shows how quickly the dice can turn a game, too.
Right, absolutely.
Because those Black Tentacles, they do 3d6 damage when they get you.
Yeah, and you rolled an 18 bludgeoning
I rolled
damage.
max on Falsey. I think a 14 the second time on Falzarin.
Yep.
Just pummeling the glass cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an 18 and then a 15 on Falzarin, and then you had a 14 on Bryn, but she took half. But yeah, that's some major damage.
Yeah.
Was taking us down.
So, okay, what's funny is later, Falzarin's first fireball, I think his 8d6 fireball did 16 damage to 18 damage to
That's
Thuff.
right.
Thuff
Yeah,
saved.
he rolled.
Keeps calling himself a
4
glass
ones.
cannon. I mean, he's got the glass part, definitely.
I know. Honestly, the past probably at least 3 or 4 times I've cast Fireball, I'm looking down at a dice tray full of 1s. Like, it's ridiculous. The odds of me rolling as many 1s and 2s. It's just bad. Guess we need to buy more dice. A few more sets.
Absolutely. So we had some back and forth, really, between Thuft being really the one that was the toughest to kill of the bunch. Brindle was a little tough. I think what saved us was getting rid of the spell, breaking his concentration finally. Or I think we would have lost Falzer in the next round.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Sure,
I had not thought of that at all. So I'm glad that you did.
I had thought of it, but I didn't. Yeah.
I knew there was no way I was getting in there, and there was no point. So, but I thought I was gonna, get killed as soon as I went around there. There was even a point where I think I was down to like 1 or 2 hit points, and I was going to take a health potion. And I knew if I took my whole action to do that, Brindle would do something nasty. So I did a Hail Mary and hoped we killed him. And we got lucky.
And I mean, you were down too, yeah.
Yeah, then I went down immediately after that.
I remember exactly why I went up in melee combat against him. Because as Bryn, I hadn't got to use, other than Produce Light, my little stupid cantrip, I hadn't used any of my magic yet. And I have the reaction of absorb elements. So like I wanted to get up and absorb elements, taking some of the incoming energy, and I can use it on my next melee attack. But I don't usually play melee. So that's why I went up melee against him. So that's how that all happened, was me trying to use my magic instead of my bow. Yeah, but I ran up by Thuft.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why I did, basically. That's how I ended up in the situation I was in instead of in the back. Yeah.
Well.
But yeah.
Was a poor choice.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't think that any choices are necessarily poor, but it's all, like, everything comes together, and then that's just how it plays out. And we've talked about this off mic, but basically you can't let the game get in the way of a story. So if Bryn died, she died. Like, I don't know. You just have to go with it.
Well, I mean, the way that all came down, Shakara had a critical fail. And the long
bring
sword
that up again.
went over and, hit Bryn, but then immediately after, Bryn failed the death
It was
save,
Bryn's turn. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other scenario we would have been able to stabilize you.
Yeah, totally.
Bill and I were totally unaware of that rule as well. So, I mean, it's etched in our minds forever now.
Yeah, that's the first time that's ever come up in our campaign.
Yes, because I was just going to say that's exactly right. That it's like replaces like the coup de grace. Like 4E had a special rule. I think past editions too,
where you
right?
could just smush them.
You just go up to an unconscious dude and they're just toast, right? You just drive them right through and finish them.
I mean, I'm not mad at Shakara. I never was mad at Shakara. I was just mad at the whole situation that day.
Understandable.
Yeah.
And it was definitely not personal at all. But I will say that I took dying personal. I was like truly grieving. I don't know. And I didn't expect it. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. I know you guys saw me, like, we're playing. You guys were continuing on to play. And I would just, like, leave the mic for a little bit, go get a snack. Like, I just couldn't sit still. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this just happened.
I thought it was the best ending to any episode that we've had.
Oh,
when
yeah.
Leland stops the music and you hear the dice roll
Oh,
and Bryn's dead. That was,
was
the
good.
most
That was good editing.
dramatic ending I think we've ever had.
I was so
Yeah.
nervous. But I knew. So Bill and I are now recording in separate rooms of the house. I knew that I couldn't lie on the die roll, but I wanted to so bad. He wasn't there watching me.
I've heard say that it's when you're playing D&D, your character more so belongs to the story than it does to you. So you have to be willing to let them go when it's the right time, right? And the character belongs to the shared story, so in a way it belongs to everyone. So if you just are always hanging on for dear life and doing, obviously you want to play your character intelligently, but play your character true to that character. And if those actions lead to a situation where they end up, having something like this happen, that's part of the storytelling.
What were your words, Falzarin? We're in a tactically poor situation, Bryn.
So Falsey started off, and
It's all my fault.
maybe Bill as well a little bit, being a little bit perturbed because Bryn had gone stomping into this room and basically, prevented any opportunity for us to get the jump on any bad guys. And then that quickly changed to me and Falsey feeling pretty guilty that Bryn had died in this goose chase that we're on, that she probably wouldn't be in if it weren't for Falsey. And yeah, so I think he's still harboring some guilt over Bryn dying, even though maybe there wasn't a lot that he could have done to change things. But
Yeah, that the last part is certainly true. It is definitely Falzarin's fault that you were all down there.
And Bryn took the time to save Falzarin's life, and then
Yeah.
instead of doing Bryn the favor back, he chose to cast a spell instead. I was down and unconscious, and he chose to cast a spell instead.
yeah, so
If that's true to Falzarin, it's part of
I
the
thought
story.
about that
It
a
is
lot
what it is.
afterwards and did feel bad. But in the moment, I thought Bryn had at least a couple more rounds.
She should have.
I think Falzarin probably, assumed that, well, from Falzarin's standpoint, he was almost dead. And I think Shaft may have been down as
But
well at that
to
point.
to
I was
even
down,
think
yeah.
of the whole fight in rounds, Bill, is that metagamey?
Yes,
To
it
be
is,
like,
for sure.
well, she's
Yeah.
got 3 rounds.
But I think it's reasonable that Falzarin sees Shaft's down. Now Bryn goes down. Shakara's looking beaten up. And I'm probably 1 hit away from being down. So if we don't kill the immediate threat, all of us are going to die. There's no chance of saving anyone. That's kind of how I was playing it.
That's how Shakara was thinking too.
As much as I wanted to run up and save Bryn, and as much as Falsey wanted to, he thought that if he did that and gave the enemy a chance and they took out Shakara, he was next, because I was 1 hit away from death. But it sucks.
Well, we don't know. Bryn could come back, you guys.
Maybe.
It has yet to be revealed.
That is true.
If you have the cost, which whatever.
So how many hit points were you down to, Bill? How many hit points did you have left?
It was very few. I forget how many, but I think didn't Bryn give me a health potion?
Chipped your tooth?
Yeah, it would have been less than 10 hit points, I think.
And what about you, Emily?
I don't remember, but it was low. Maybe like 12, maybe. I don't remember.
So we were probably within 20, 21 hit points of a TPK.
Yeah, that's the
Because if you would've
closest we've
both
ever
went down, that
been.
would have been it.
Where Leland kept saying, "You guys will be fine. You'll be fine." Because,
Well-
like I said, we had this break and we knew what we were going back into, and you kept telling us we'd be fine.
Right.
Bryn was not fine.
So I mean, I know that we reveal a bunch of stuff in the after part. I don't really know how much I kind of want to reveal about this fight. I mean, it was designed to be very difficult, as if you're using the recommended encounter builder, it would probably have been classified as a deadly encounter. I mean, this was a deadly. I mean, look at what happened. But I will say that Brendel certainly had a use for Falzarin, even to the end.
Yeah, he wouldn't have killed him.
I, of course, had plans for however that fight
Which
would
Bryn
have
knew
turned
about,
out.
but Bryn dead now, girl. Bryn listened and knew about that plan. Knew what Brenda was after.
Yeah. And to Bill's point about Bryn shooting off at her mouth and just charging in, well, I mean, this was very clearly an ambush. Like, Thuft led you guys there. And while, yes, that was a stupid thing for Bryn to do, ultimately, you were fucked anyways. Like, that fight was happening anyways.
Yeah.
Of course it was.
I think I was a little bit perturbed because Falsey ended up being right up at the front, stomping into this, and he always hangs back just in case something like this happens because it doesn't take much to put him down. So he was kind of dragged right into the heat of battle in this situation, but it was a small space, all
It
things
was very
considered
confined.
anyway.
Yeah.
So who knows if it would have made any difference.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Well, let's hope they all burned up so we don't have to see them again.
Oh, well. Should we talk about the fact that Leland said there was loot in that room that we did not look
He didn't say
for?
that. He said we didn't look for it. He said
okay.
who knows what's underneath the bodies.
I thought he said there was loot under the bodies, but...
There was bags and bags of platinum just underneath all those bodies.
And magical weapons.
That cave system is fairly extensive, and you guys did not see very much of it. So who knows what else was down there.
You keep doing that. You keep making extensive cave systems that we don't explore.
Yeah, when we have like 2 hit points left.
This one's not quite as extensive as the Goblin's Cave, the Goblinoid Cave.
I really
for
want to
sure.
go back to that Goblinoid Cave, to be honest with you. I mean, I want to keep the story moving forward, but if this were a video game I was playing or something, I'd be all about going back to all these side quests for sure.
Yeah, but actually, so doing that encounter, I learned, listening back to it, I'm like, okay, that was a challenging encounter for me to run, because I was basically running 4 characters, right? They were, I mean, it's kind of basically, it's very similar as to them having, if there being 4 different monsters, but still, even so, that's like 4 different stat blocks you're bouncing back and forth from and keeping track of and figuring out, because they're not just stupid beings like, what was the order? There was an order of something. Oh yeah, Brendel's Screech. Had you guys failed, that would have given you like disadvantage on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
And then Vanette and Thuff would come up after you've been affected by a Screech, laying out some gross breath weapons and fear tactics, right?
You basically thought we'd get captured, correct?
There was a possibility that you guys could have gotten captured. The funny thing is, like, if more than maybe just 2 of you had gone down at once, you all actually might have survived, maybe, because they would have took you for sacrifice.
So
Yeah.
we
Well,
would have survived to be sacrificed,
to the
is what you're
sacrifice,
saying?
yeah.
Well, exactly. You would have been fed to Kralakina.
Darn it.
So +4 to all saving throws, including death saves. We all got that now, right? +4
Right,
to
yeah.
every saving throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that leads us into to 58, right?
Well,
Where we did you have something else?
Well, should
I was
we
gonna
talk about
say,
the fact that we screwed
Brendel,
that up?
Falty has just discovered that Brendel is not Brendel. And
No, he's Brendel. He's always been Brendel.
has he
Brendel's
though?
been Brendel.
For how long has he been a deep scion?
Well, I don't know.
Since Elena started accusing Falzarin of being a Deep Scion, duh.
How long did Deep Scions live? Did they have extra
Then
long
Leland was
lives?
like, good idea, Elena. I'm gonna steal it.
Yeah, so how much of this, I mean, I guess ever since we've met up with him in this campaign, he's been, just getting any information he wanted to get out of Falsey and maybe relaying it to other people, who knows?
Certainly not been helpful.
He has not yet. So I'm pretty shook, to be honest, that my best friend in the whole world is a Deep Scion.
Speaking of best friends, I thought it was super cute that Thuft was still loyal to Gozer, even though they were both dead.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Even though he had no face. He had, like, no skin on his face or whatever you
Yeah.
said.
Gozer still loved him anyway, skinless or not.
So we're not going to touch on the death
Oh, yeah,
save?
we can talk about it.
Okay, so Shakara, if I was within how many feet of Shakara?
10
10
feet.
feet, which I was because you swung and hit me on accident.
You were basically kind of off to the side of where Thuft was, so I think you were just within 10 feet.
If I was within 10 feet, I would have added 4 to my death save. I rolled a 7, which would have made it an 11, but in the heat of the moment, no one remembered.
For some reason, I have a disassociation from death saves being saving throws. I think of them as two different things.
Yeah, it is funny how that works, right?
So I would have just made it with an 11. But it is what it is. Like I said, you can't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we all sort of had a discussion a while back about Chapter 2. We're sort of moving away from the rules, part of the show where we're going to, go back and double check
happen.
all that stuff. And I think we all sort of agree, and I've talked to some other people that have games that they play too, retroing things back once you find out that you made a mistake. I think we all sort of agree if we don't remember as players, just too bad.
Yeah.
Especially on a podcast, because it's really hard to go back, especially a couple sessions prior. You pretty much have to record everything all
if
over
anything,
again, right?
then I'm in Falzarin's bag of holding, suffocating, right? So I'm dead.
Yeah, you're dead no matter what.
You're dead now, yeah.
I'm double jointed and dead.
Right. Well, so, also Chapter 1, again, because it was more geared towards a learning experience, like, when I remembered myself, I was very quick to pipe up about abilities that would be useful or helpful in their time of need. And in Chapter 2, I will not be doing that anymore, even though it's hard to break those habits myself, because in that first episode, there was a point where I said to Elena, "You sure you don't want to attack Brendel?" And Brendel had those tentacles up and killing Falsey. I took a second to be like, why don't you attack Brendel? She's like, I want to, but no.
Yeah. I don't know.
So old habits.
I do
die
remember
hard,
that. Yeah. So anyway, what were you saying, John? Episode 58?
Well, is there anything else we want to touch on as far as
Moving on.
stuff that happened in the cave? I mean, I think there was a couple things listening back, like when Falzarin did the fireball. Making sure I couldn't remember if I was outside of that range or not, and we had a discussion. Luckily, I was. He didn't have to sculpt for me, or I would have also taken a couple more death saves. And that's another thing. When you're listening, you don't see what's on the screen either, what we're looking at on the map.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to know where everybody's located and if they would get those extra bonuses or not. So when you're listening to it, it's hard to tell.
Right. And if we're not about to break down, okay, I'm going to step here. I'm 10 feet away from Bryn. I'm 10 feet away from Shakara. Now I'm 5 feet away from Thuft. I am standing. Here you go, listener. Here's your spatial awareness test. I am right. Where am I? Send us an email and tell me where Shaft is.
Yeah. It's nice to try and describe things, but there's a point where it becomes detrimental to the listening experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that moves us into the next session, In Too Deep, where we start out. I think we finish off. Shakara finishes off Thuft with a smite, with some help, with minimal help from the fireball. Like he does, rolls 4 ones as we talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the stuffing Bren into the bag of holding experience, which I think is all right. That's a good way to carry somebody to.
Led to the revelation
Varian.
that she's double jointed.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Bryn is like, she was super practical in life, so.
I don't think she'd be offended.
No.
You just, you guys keep an eye on what Falsey does with that body, though. Just in case he doesn't take the double jointed body.
What?
It comes crawling out.
engage in some necromancy.
He doesn't have Isabella's book anymore. He sold it.
Did you remember to close your bag of holding before you jumped in that black water? I hope so.
Oh boy.
Ooh, the black water touching a dead body.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Rabbit
Didn't
test.
think about that. So then we head on. We all decide to get the hell out of there because we're about dead. No way to take a long rest or even really a short rest because the smoke was bellowing out and we didn't want to go down a pathway that we didn't know where we were going.
We didn't want to find the treasure.
Yeah, no point in having any treasure. And we hear the chanting from the other room. As we head out the hall, we see some people coming down the hallway, which happens to be an old friend of Shaft's, Surma, and some cultists. And Shaft pretty much says, hey, you guys go hide while I try to take care of the situation. Luckily, you guys didn't stay hidden and you followed. Or there might have been a lot worse situation there in the end.
Well, what I loved about that was like after what had just happened, like this Brendel betrayal and Shakara killing Bryn.
Hey!
Shaft's like, okay, just I can't tell you why, but stay here. You just gotta trust me.
Well, I think Shakara somewhat trusts Shaft at this point, and I don't see there's any reason why you wouldn't.
She doesn't distrust Shaft.
Yeah.
I also think when Shaft said to the two of them, I can explain why I'm down here. Instantly, like me listening to all this, I'm like, what? I need to hear what's going on. And that's where I was like, man, now that I'm listening, I would listen to our podcast. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think Shaft knew he wasn't going to be able to help them. And so we went out and saw my brother Danzig, which was, I guess, sort of some information I guess Shakara and Bryn didn't know, but I had shared this in the past with Falzarin. So he wasn't too shocked to know this, I assume, right, Falzarin?
Yeah.
And really, I don't think Shakara had any reason to have any, one way or the other, know anything about it. I don't think we ever talked about Danzig to her.
Bryn didn't really have a reaction.
So, yeah. Now, I will say, Danzig was a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, really. I wasn't expecting how excited he was to see Shaft.
I think you got lucky there because you kept saying we. The whole time you were talking to them, you're saying we. And I'm like, stop saying we, because at some point, Lena's going to be like, we who? I only see one person here.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. You mentioned it, and that's when I went, oh, I did it, but don't tell him that. So, yeah, we were pretty much in a no-win situation in that sacrifice. There was nothing. I mean, it went through my mind possibly to stab, Surma or something, but we would just die. There's no way we were fighting. So the only thing I think I could come up with was to do the ritual out of order and somehow hope that would solve the problem.
Yeah, no, that was
But you didn't.
a good idea.
Really, Shakara should have been super concerned about all of your actions. Every action that you took, you going in there, you knowing these people that are obviously the bad guys, and you doing the ritual, that really should have set off some alarm bells for me, and probably for Falzarin too, but maybe not as much. But, I mean, that's all super shady. Not till after we were finished playing. And I was like, wait a second.
That's all right.
Wait a second.
As long as you remember that as Shakara moving forward.
Yeah, that's really questionable actions there. Which I think you explained them all, but
I think it adds a bit more layer to the character of Shaft that the other party members are forming, right? Like Falsey knows that he's got a bit of a shady background, but this is more evidence to support the fact that Shaft knows some people from low places and who knows what he gets involved with.
Just because Shaft's brother strayed down a terrible, dark path, I mean, is that really to reflect upon Shaft himself? I don't think that's very fair.
No.
No, but like I can see where Shakara saw Shaft kill
Oh yeah,
someone.
no, I totally get that. Absolutely.
Shakara or Emily playing Shakara, if Shakara was in a situation of kill or be killed, what do you think she would do? Like,
I honestly don't think Shakara would kill somebody that was innocent. I think she would try and fight and give her life.
Their life versus your life.
She would die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the paladin.
Yep.
So Shaft's not that way. So
Nope.
as you saw, I was trying to give you as I looked over to see if you were there, and you were both. I think Falzarin rolled a 1, so he was standing in the middle of the hallway waving at me. Yeah, the idea was to somehow give you a nod to, hey, I'm going to cause a distraction. You guys make it to the water.
Get the hell out of there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to mouth it. Get the fuck out of there. Yeah. And I don't think Shakara was in wanting to go in that water, but for any reason. Luckily, Falzarin dragged her into the water. Apparently, because you weren't going to do it. So so the idea, I thought, I'm not getting out of killing this guy, so I'll kill him out of order, and then run like a madman to go jump in the water with Kralakina as a psycho. So they would, from their perspective, I'm either dead because the Kraken killed me, or I never came back either way. So that was the idea. What I didn't think about when I did it was I couldn't see shit once I got in the water. So I had a half an hour of sitting down at the bottom, waiting until I died. Or you guys better get in there and give me a light.
Yeah, that.
Well,
is
wouldn't
funny.
you still float?
I'd swim down to the bottom. I wasn't going to pop my head back up.
But before your potion wore off, let's say you did sink down there and wait it out, you could just float back up before your potion was done.
Yeah, probably to my death. Right? They would kill me more than likely.
Well, that's the thing though. Falzarin using a light also put a target on there, but it shows the monster where you are, right?
Well, it certainly helped the crabs find us.
I mean, unless the crabs can see in the dark.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing. We sort of work our way out and then run into these, already almost dead. And then Leland likes to give us some crabs to fight.
That was ridiculous.
On our way
Leland,
up.
for real though, sitting back, I was like, just let them live. How we were all going to be fine. It's really?
I really thought for a moment Falzarin wanted to fight them. The crabs. You were hitting them a few times. And I thought, all we can do is get away.
Well, I tried to, I wasn't sure what it was at first, and so I wanted to fire off another firebolt and illuminate it to give me a bit better look. Then Leland makes me roll an attack roll, and I'm like, why am I rolling an attack roll? After I just said I don't want to hit it, and then I roll a good attack, and then I hit it, and he's like,
sure, yeah.
Like, what?
Okay, so here, this is the thing. So
it's so big.
The logic with you casting a firebolt, you need to make a roll to try to target something, to put it at a exact point that you are aiming for. Right. Regardless of what your intended effect with it is, why would I not make you roll that, right?
Sure, yeah.
And you didn't say, I'm going to try to aim maybe 5 feet next to it. You said, I'll put it, the same way that I just, you literally said in that episode, I'm going to shoot the same direction that I just did.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know what else you were expecting. To be able to not seeing what you're shoot at and then put it right above the thing's head, so you don't make it angry, but you still get what you want. No, buddy, come on, that's not how life works.
I'm betting if I had missed it
story.
Second time around, it wouldn't have made any difference anyway. But
yeah, I thought we were dead there again too.
Yeah,
I don't know how we did it. I did like when you I think you got up into the boat and then you shot firebolt down into the water to sort of guide our way, which pretty much just showed the crabs where you were, and then they came after us at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and then the reason that you didn't have to roll an attack when you wanted to put a firebolt next to the boat is because you could see the boat. You could very easily put your arm, away from the boat, completely away from the boat.
Yeah, no, I understand that you need to do some sort of mechanic to if I ask or if I want to do something that's going to require a little bit of difficulty, I mean, the easiest way to resolve that is roll a die and see what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of, now that actually just thinking back of it, maybe you should have hit it if you had missed. You know what I mean? Like the opposite. Like if you did shit the bed, then you would have hit it maybe. But again, you couldn't see it though, right? You couldn't really know where it was.
Yeah.
They all made it in the boat.
Yeah, you're all
miraculously.
fine. Most of you, 3/4 of you are fine.
It was like the javelin throw, right? The javelin throw went into the darkness.
Right.
Leland, with this deadly encounter that you planned, were you surprised that someone died?
I was just as shocked when Bryn died as everybody was, and the night after we played, I was literally lying in bed.
That's kind of not answering the question.
Oh no! I'm like, Bryn's dead. Like, well, we won't see Bryn anymore. Like, what? Oh no!
But would you have been surprised that someone died? That anyone? That's what the question was.
That's honestly hard to answer because
I guess my money would have been on Falzarin I think all our money would have been on Falzarin dying, and Falzarin was the one that brought us on this little wild goose chase, all these different things.
Well, okay, so to that point, I would have been very surprised if Falzarin had died because Falzarin, as far as Brendel's concerned, right? Brendel, may want to incapacitate Falzarin, but he certainly wasn't. His goal wasn't to murder Falzarin, and by extension, it wasn't going to be the goal of the zombie party to murder Falzarin. Maybe the rest of you, and hey, if you can take some of you alive for a sacrifice, that's just a bonus. So I would have been surprised if Falzarin had died.
You know what? Listening back, I mean, now we all know the information Brendel was trying to get out of Falzarin. Although Brendel doesn't tell Shakara and Shaft, hey, knowing the Tritons is what Brendel wanted to know.
Falzarin.
He doesn't say that.
No.
But you guys know about the Tritons now. And what was the comment, Bill? I was going over and over in my mind.
Shakara asked me, so after I had explained that, dare I say it again,
swim fast.
I'm really good at swimming and holding my breath underwater.
I legitimately cut out 2 instances of you saying that.
And it was still in there 3 times.
I'll find ways to work it into future episodes. Don't worry.
I love just Shaft picking his nails. Okay, big whoop. We know you swim fast and you breathe underwater.
All I remember is that Falzarin was caught saying, "I'm still the same. I'm still blank." But instead of saying what he is, he said, I am still the race that was.
That was because of editing. He did say normally, because I'm a half-elf, but I think he bumped his table and there was a mic bump or something that I tried to get rid of.
I thought I caught him in a lie.
Sorry.
Phil was a Triton.
That was because of editing.
Because I accused him of being a Triton and he gave me a smirk that I thought was...
He may be a Triton.
I mean, he could be.
So I look at session 59 was the bookkeeping of of this batch of 3 for sure, because
exactly,
man, it took you idiots a long time to figure out you wanted to go to Pisces. Holy hell!
You probably even cut some of it out. It was pretty long.
No, I mean it's pretty much what it was in its entirety. But I just love it's so typical you guys Shaft suggest okay, Shakar, just get on your horse and go. We'll be cool. And Paul's just no, we're not gonna be cool. Come on. Look at me. I'm looking at my ropes.
Thinking back on that, I should have gotten on my horse and gone. I shouldn't have talked. But Emily doesn't like to split the party. is what was going on there.
Oh,
Emily didn't want to
Yeah.
split the party. Shakara would have gone.
After Leland just threw everything he had at you.
Yeah.
Well, what if he didn't throw everything he had and there's more to come? That's what I was worried about.
Yeah, me too.
Me and Shaft just sitting there twiddling our thumbs around a campfire and a big pack of orcs comes up on us.
I figure if we could get an hour, we could roll some hit die, and then we can at least run,
Yeah.
right? And she wasn't going to let a whole city get destroyed by a kraken because she's worried about these two schleps that she's only known for a few days, really. She would jump on her horse, haul ass back, and let them know. And, I was trying to say that without trying to say anything about how she's playing her character, right?
Right. But then you
It's
just eventually
tough.
did just say that.
Yeah,
Because I wasn't picking up on
Yeah.
it.
No one was picking up on Shaft's little things that episode, like his distraction.
Yeah, that went right over my
Yeah,
head.
it's tough.
I didn't catch that we were supposed to run when you made a big deal of killing the guy.
There
and yelling
was
about it,
no
so-
way I was running out there after you killed that guy. It wasn't till Falzarin did the fog cloud. There was no way I was going out there.
I didn't think we'd
The
passed the stealth
inspirational
check of
fog
doing
cloud.
A very inspirational fog cloud.
But not unanimously inspirational.
That's right.
And I did actually want to talk about that.
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
good.
let's.
Let's talk about it.
You voted no, John. Why did you vote no on giving Falzer an inspiration?
Well, there's two reasons. Number one, the more inspiration we give, the sooner you're going to get it. And I can't remember, do you get 5 of them in a row, I believe now? Right? We hand out 5?
After you hand out 5, the next 5 that you hand out amongst yourselves, I also get one. And then it resets.
Okay.
And then you get another free 5.
I think we got to start using it, you guys.
Also,
Honest.
We
also
do.
remember, we also made the house rule that a single character can have more than 1 point of inspiration.
We did.
We
I
did?
forgot about that too.
We did,
Yeah, we
yes.
did.
I forgot about
So
that.
remember that part of it too.
Why didn't Bryn have more inspiration? She should have had inspiration.
Because then Leland would definitely have inspiration by now then.
Yeah, but it works both ways. You look at what would have happened had Bryn had some inspiration.
That's
You guys could be
true.
dealing with her
Potentially.
annoying butt.
Potentially.
And Thuff doesn't need inspiration to get crits. He was critting for days near the end of that fight.
Yeah.
He got
That
3
is
crits
true.
and 4 attack rolls.
Thuff was
That's
kicking
crazy.
ass. My little
Yeah, it is a
Thuffy.
shame that we lost Bryn right where we did because I think she was evolving as a character. I mean, she had taken a level of druid, and I think she had got a new perspective on things after her friend had come to her, and that was interesting. I would have liked to have seen that played out, but
But you hated Bryn, so you're kind of happy.
I don't think it's fair to say that I hated Bryn.
Bill hated Bryn.
I did not hate Bryn.
Bill hated Bryn. We would get done recording and he'd be like, Bryn is so annoying.
I did not ever say that. You're inferring.
You heard it here first.
I think it is sad to see storylines end,
Yeah.
though, right? Because
Yeah.
like when Gozer died, there's really no reason to go back to the caves. When Bryn dies, all her motivations, like as soon as we got out of the cave and Shaft was up on shore, he goes, well, let's get the hell out of here. There's no reason to go back and help anybody else. Let's go back to our original mission. Right? It's
For sure, Shaft is going to miss having that, second opinion that's likely agreeing with him.
plus I doubled my money with you gone.
That is true.
And then some, because you have
That was
Bryn's
one of the
stash.
first things I thought of. I was like, I remember thinking 1,000 gold was too much to travel with, but now I wish I would have just spent it on crap that could have helped me not die, but whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, everything you left it back at my place is now mine. And then if I finish the job,
Yeah,
Well, Falzarin has seen what that job goes for on the job board.
that's
Keep
true.
that in mind.
John, you didn't finish your second point of why Falzarin did not earn, or Bill did not earn that point of inspiration.
Oh, right.
so yeah, I tend to think that inspiration is more role play than it is doing actions that your character can do as skills.
How is it not amazing roleplay, though, that he even thought to use Fog Cloud as a distraction?
Because
like,
that's what Fog Cloud is for. Fog Cloud distinctly creates something that obscures visibility.
It seemed genius to me, because in the moment we were
It was a very good move, not denying.
It was a great...
Yeah, it was a great
thing to use that spell for.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Like, in the moment, reason was out the window. All of us were, like, not on our game. We weren't thinking straight, because Bryn just died, and, like... It was...
Yeah.
I mean, I think the reason inspiration's there in 5e is to promote role-playing.
Right. Now, can you refresh my memory? Because I couldn't for the life of me remember why we gave you inspiration, John. Because we did do it off mic.
Because of what I was doing in the ritual.
Okay.
Going up, trying to... It was basically everything that happened right before they did Fog Cloud and ran.
That's what I assumed, but...
Right.
I couldn't
but we did that off
giving you
mic.
Inspiration either, to be honest.
Yeah, we did that after we got off. After we recorded, I believe we talked about it.
I think that's fair. And that's how I've, other games that I've listened to, that's typically how they use inspiration too. It's, if it's something that a skill that your character has, something that you would expect your character to be able to do, that's not really how people typically use inspiration, but I mean, I'll take it.
I mean,
sure.
I mean, think about it, and people have mentioned it before. If we all worked together as a team and had a good strategy, we would all be doing those things, and that would be the way we regularly play our characters.
Yeah.
We just don't do that.
Right, exactly.
We're not very inspirational.
Well, I mean, I vote for handing out the next 5, 6, or whatever without super thinking about Leland getting it and just it creating an interesting story for us and for him.
Yeah.
Like on one of his roles and one of ours. So,
like you said before, we don't think to use it. It's like this important thing we don't want him to have, but even though we have it, we don't really utilize it. So
I think it could really change the story.
In the right instance, yeah.
Like, so
if you use it at the right time. Yeah, exactly. But I think we're saving it up for things like in your role for a death save. We were saving that. We're saving it for that instance, and then we just don't use it. Because you don't want to throw it away.
You can't save what you don't have.
Could someone use their inspiration on someone else?
No, I think we said
no.
No.
Okay.
So that pretty much wraps up, I think, all the episodes. We end with Shakara heading off on... What's your horse's name?
Buttercup. My little Buttercup.
Off to Pisces to... what I call it? Paul Revere it. Paul Revere it back
Paul
to...
Revere it. That was good.
So, yeah, that's all. Do you guys have anything else?
I just want to say the chanting was creepy.
Oh, yeah.
You did great job on that.
There was one, though, that was too high pitched, and it was higher pitched before. I dropped it. And I think it was still too high pitched, but
yeah, it sounded weird.
I liked it.
It was cool.
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I thought it was
agree.
good.
I thought all the sound on these last 3 were awesome. The background music and everything was great.
So,
okay,
we got some
questions?
Yeah.
David Dave posted some things that we pretty much already went over. He said, did Leland expect the battle of the rotting corpses to go the way it did?
Yes, we all learned that. So.
Wait, was he expecting it to be that hard?
I've learned
Deadly encounter.
I've learned to not make expectations with you guys, though. Like I mean, yeah, that is kind of a reflection on you, but that's also a reflection on my own GMing skills growing. Like, honestly, that encounter and that whole cave system, I fell into a bunch of stuff that I know I shouldn't do, but I still just did it. Like when Gozer is making 3 attacks, and I'm like, okay, yeah, she's attacking you with all 3. And when Thuff's attack, Shaft, you had like 11 points or whatever it was, and he double crit you. Like, I already committed to him hitting you with both attacks. That's something a DM shouldn't do, right? Yeah. Because, to a point that Ian had brought up, technically the first crit for Thuff put you down. His second one would then have imposed two automatic failed
Ooh,
death
yeah,
saves.
Fails.
forgot about that.
Now, in the moment, of course, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not going to do that because then I rolled them into one and just gave you a total because I didn't want that to happen to you. Because, again, if they could have taken you for sacrifice, that was like they weren't out to murder you. Now, you may come across enemies that might actually try to when someone goes down, make sure they don't get back up. That's something that you guys haven't really fought yet, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been something either mindless, like a beast, or somebody has some ulterior motive for the party.
Right. There is an attack. You say, I don't want to kill him. I want to knock him out. Essentially.
That's true.
Right?
I could do that too, but
So you could say Thuff.
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
trying to do that.
That's a really good point, actually.
Shakara was just trying to knock me out.
I'm ignoring that.
Emily, it's not directed at you. It's directed at a fictional character.
Anyway, David Dave also says, has the party ever considered working together to target and take down one foe at a time, thus reducing enemy attacks back against them? I made him explain what he meant by working together, because that doesn't seem to be in our vocabulary.
Sounds awful.
Right?
I would argue in that particular battle, we worked together relatively well.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we did split up a little bit, but I think it was to our advantage. If Shakara and Shaft weren't over on the other side, we wouldn't have been able to hit Brindle. We would have all been stuck and squeezed to death. And I think we worked pretty well together.
Yeah, we're saving each other and stuff.
Falzern, what did you do that battle? So you cast 2 fireballs, right? You tried to escape from tentacles and then you got knocked out, right? Did you do something before Brendel put up the tentacles? Like, did you get a spell off? I can't quite remember.
No, I think all I had opportunity to do was those 2 fireballs that fight.
I think you did Shatter or something, didn't you?
Oh, I did Shatter. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shattered.
And I know David Dave
They heard
is
us.
asking that in jest because we are very dysfunctional. But I think especially with the addition of Shakara, I think Shaft and Falzern are growing a bit more, or at least Falzern is growing a bit closer to Shaft and trusting him a bit more with the more time he spends with him. And I think Bryn was evolving as well. And I think I could foresee if the party continued on, we'd become a bit more cohesive gradually as time went on. But
Yeah, I think so.
And now it's all gone to shit and we have to start over again.
Leland had to ruin it all.
Is that all he had? Where did he send those questions?
Twitter.
Oh, okay.
He hashtagged it with Afterparty IP.
Oh.
Way to go, David Dave. Was that all for him?
Well, what were the other questions? We had more.
Yeah, Jess sends her usual dictionary worth of dialogue here.
She had some great questions, I think. Yeah.
She's got good questions. Jessica, keep sending questions.
We kind of touched on how we were all coping and kind of reacted to Bryn's loss. She does ask Elena, how do you think your experience with Bryn's death differs from Emily's with Gozer's death?
Well, one big difference is Gozer was planned.
It was unplanned, exactly. It was a surprise, and it was my first character death ever, like first character in D&D. I don't know. I feel like I took it hard because of that.
Yeah, I legitimately felt bad for killing, for like Bryn dying. I felt pretty bad, and I was like, oh man, Elena must be upset. I'm like,
I was upset. I tried to hide it with like my stupid humor and all the following episodes you guys listened to.
yeah, I cut about 30 to 80% of it out. So
I know. I feel like I just kept chiming in, and I was like, I probably shouldn't be talking.
Your dead body is very quiet.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
I think it affected you more than you were expecting, probably. Is that fair?
Oh, for sure. And
Yeah.
you had to deal with me. For like 2 days, I was not like a wreck, but I was like grieving.
Yeah.
It was really weird. And then, like, I don't know, a couple days. It was hard.
That's the beauty of D&D. Like this is a real story that we're all invested in, and we're attached to these characters. Like,
It felt really real because I didn't get to do all I wanted to do with Bryn. So, and now Shaft has my money.
Yeah. When I think when Thuff died, it was really tough on Emily for
It was.
a few days.
Thuff wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to die.
Exactly.
Gozer not so much, like, 'cause I think you, like you said, you sort of knew at some point in time it was going to happen. You didn't know when.
Right.
Yeah, we already talked about all that, so.
But yeah, it was definitely not planned. Bryn was trying to be a better person. And I think that's the one thing that I didn't get to do as Bryn was like get deeper into Druid or just like trend towards
Redeem
like, a
redeem
better
yourself.
person. Yeah. Like I got into a little darkness for a minute, but if you think about Bryn's past and like how long she'd actually been like assassinating for money or those type of things, it wasn't long. And I think Bryn was starting to see like good versus evil versus like, you know, selfishness versus selflessness. I think she was, I don't know, she was trending towards being better because of Kiara.
Ciara.
Ciari.
I don't. Ciari.
Do you know your own dead best friend's name?
Oh, it's been a while.
Well, we'll never hear that name again. That'll be the last time any of us have to say it.
No more bees.
Now that her magic
No
headband
campaign.
is gone.
Yeah.
But do you think you would have continued with druid levels?
Maybe 2 levels so I could change into an animal.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that level 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember what animal I was thinking of, but Elena would want to be a squirrel. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, I think I would have taken 2 levels of druid. Is all. So that I could be like extra stealthy and sneaky as different. Because do I have to be one animal or could I have chosen different?
You can choose whenever you be shit.
Yeah,
you
so
can
like I could have been
I
super
think it's like anything
stealthy.
you've seen or something.
Yeah.
Like as a spider, like climbing
Yeah.
under the crack of a door, like stuff like that. Oh, that would have been sweet.
Yeah, there's so much really, really cool utility stuff you can do with
Getting
a druid.
surprise rounds. Oh, yeah. That would have been cool.
Emily, how do you feel getting to finish Gozer's story that way? It was so epic, Jess says.
I like that I was the one that finished her off. And I don't know, I'm sad that she came back as an undead, as a zombie. But I kind of knew it was going to happen because I know you now enough that I knew that was definitely going to happen.
Everyone's coming back as a
Yeah.
zombie, yeah.
Who isn't coming back as a zombie, basically?
I was more surprised by Uncle Vanette being there. That makes me even sadder that Uncle Vanette was there and had been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
Or somewhere for 10
Yeah.
years.
It sort of shows how long they've been trying to summon Kralakina or something like that, right?
How long Erica's been reanimating people, I guess.
Right.
At least
It
I
puts it
assume
into
it's Erica.
perspective.
Yeah. Makes you wonder what else has been going on for the past 10 years.
Right.
Nothing from Leland.
We exist in a world that's existed. I'll just say that, right? Like, we exist in a world that had its, like, problems already started years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
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 Yeah, I think I've been thinking a lot over the past week about the fact that there's, in Leland's mind, there's all sorts of different storylines happening simultaneously and maybe affecting each other or completely independent, that we're, going to run into at some point or not going to run into. And I think that's really, really cool to think about. And all the new characters we meet, they're people that have been hanging out wherever they've been all of this time when we've been playing and doing their thing. And then you come across them and yeah, I don't know. It's just, I love it. I love D&D.
Yeah.
Leland's built a very, I don't want to say nice, because it's not a nice world, but a very comprehensive world
Yeah.
for us to run around
For
in.
sure.
Multi-layered, lots going on, which is very cool.
Yeah, but all those layers weren't necessarily there up front too, right? Like it's evolved and it's grown as you as characters have also grown.
We've been giving him ideas, you know? Brendel being a deep scion.
Yeah, metagamey, like the world is also leveling up with you, so. Just not in the way you may want it to.
I always keep in mind there's a ticking clock somewhere in your mind, and something's going to happen if we
Ignore the towers for too much
Don't.
longer.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I mean, there's a balance there, right? We're going to have to level up to get strong enough to do this, but we don't want to take too long screwing around. Or,
But I mean, what's the bigger threat?
well, it's all character driven, right? Is the Kraken the biggest threat?
Currently, as far as we know.
It could go out to sea and nobody ever sees it again.
Yeah, you think that's what's gonna happen.
No. He unleashed
We
the
know
Kraken.
Leland.
It's coming back.
We just said we know Leland.
Yeah.
Man, am I that predictable already?
But for sure, like, what's the bigger threat? Like, Erica, Kraken / towers / I don't know. There's, like, the tattooed people and different... There's all sorts of stuff.
the bugs.
There's still Isabella that,
Yeah.
that falls her in, the deal was take out Erica and then she'll give him ultimate power, be part of the club, and that's sort of all disappeared. We're not even talking about that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's not talking to her, but hey.
That was the other thing, like in the cave, Shaft was trying to get some information when he brought up Isabella's name and Erica's,
Right.
came up. Find out how this is all connected.
Yeah,
in
you got
some way.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. They serve Erica.
I don't think they said they serve Erica.
No.
She's
You
part
all,
of their...
I will say you all, there are a few tiny details that a few of you are jumping to conclusions on. And I'm not sure whether or not I should be correcting you. And I'm also not sure whether or not it's you as your characters jumping those conclusions or the players also. So, yeah, even some of the information you guys may think you know might not be entirely what you think you know.
Well, that's great. Maybe you should do another recap so we can learn what's important.
I think you should do a whole lore thing. Just talk about the whole lore of the world and, maybe drop some information in there that
Drop some clues.
we might need to know.
He has often thought we know more than we know.
Yes.
You could
More
go
often
back
than
and
not.
do a thing that's like 30 years ago and then show the whole interaction with the mayor.
Yeah,
or
I
whoever
want
and
40
how they-
years ago. I want to see Samuel
Yeah.
Coltis and the mayor
Blake Lakely's dad.
signing contracts.
We wouldn't be able to listen to it, but the audience could.
Oh, it would kill me.
That's true. Yeah. I could do that.
Then everybody could see how inept we really are.
Right?
See, the problem with that is as great as that sounds, like I said, a lot of like layers forming over time. So if were I to do that, it is putting things in stone then for
Yeah.
us
Right,
and
true.
for me to forget and screw up in the future, as opposed to being able to adapt and change things on the fly that haven't quite been put into stone yet. That's kind of putting myself in a corner there.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
No one puts Leland in the corner.
If listener hasn't realized already, I often DM myself into a corner. And I'm trying not to do it as often, but it happens quite a bit.
Is that all the questions?
Oh, Jess had one for you, John. We kind of touched on it, but she asked how, like, what's going through Shaft's head now, seeing Danzig in the state that he is, and does he think it's possible to save him and bring him back? Does he even want to try?
Did Shaft know Danzig had died? Or was he just missing?
Shaft assumed, I'll say this, your characters don't know this, but he assumed he was dead. He hasn't seen him in a long time. And, I don't know if I probably, would it be okay to reveal any of that, Leland, you think, from prior episodes?
Yeah, you should. I think so. This is perfect timing.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, at one point in time, I did use the scrying stone, and I did see Danzig doing a sacrifice. And that is how Shaft knew Danzig was alive. And this is when Shaft did this, he knew this had something to do with the black goo, which is what drove him to try to convince you guys to go find this treasure in the cave. So Leland's biting at the bits here. I'll let you do it, Leland.
Right, and so while you were in Port Randis, Shaft went and under the guise of looking for a place where the ne'er-do-wells dwell and get his freak on, that's when he went to use the scrying stone. And he came back and told the party that he met with a man named Frederick Boddington.
Yeah.
And that he was offering gold and rewards for going to investigate this
So
dam.
legitimately, he never met Frederick Boddington.
No, it was the beer I was drinking that night.
Shaft created Frederick Boddington as a story
Then
for the
who
party.
the heck did Bryn run into?
Well, Brendel
Yeah.
also heard the story of Frederick Boddington that Shaft was telling.
Oh.
It had to be somebody in the bar. Because nobody else knew that name. I made it up on the spot.
Yeah.
There was never any treasure.
What?
Very
So then
interesting.
Brendel had an actor basically tell Bryn, you gotta go, like, driving us to that goo, is what you're saying.
I wanted to follow the black goo to find my brother.
Bryn was right to be pissed at Shaft. Oh my gosh.
Well, you helped me convince Falzarin.
She's turning in her bag of holding right now.
Right, so yes, the Frederick Boddington that Bryn met, that you briefly mentioned, or not even really mentioned to Shaft at all, really.
I never really did, because
Yeah.
I thought there was treasure and I wanted, he like offered more gold and I was going to keep more for myself. And
But you did tell me, was that off mic or was that
no, I
in a
did tell you,
conversation, or
because I
was
was
it-
like, you spoke really highly of me.
I think that
apparently.
was in a past after party that we had talked about that.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Shaft, the character, knows anything about any of that.
No. And I was very surprised that session when Bryn did not say something about meeting Frederick, because that was yet another one of those little
Clue of-
crumbs where
yeah.
you may have been able to stumble upon Brendel's infidelity.
Well, I mean,
Right.
I left that conversation with Frederick to then eavesdrop on Falzarin with Brendel, and I highly suspected that Brendel was trying to get Falzarin. First of all, I heard about the trying to contact the Tritons.
Right.
And then I knew he was trying to get Falzarin away from them, and I was like, why would he want to split us up? Like, it just didn't sit well. Like, I knew something was up, but I don't know, I didn't feel confident enough to share it with anyone else. So, I mean, that information was gone with Bryn as well.
Yeah, it was interesting to me when I heard that you had talked, as John, had talked to Frederick Boddington. I knew Leland was just screwing with that.
Yeah, this was an after party, because the two of you were dying laughing, and you're like, we'll have to bring this up later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You
it
got
was
me.
all manipulation.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's not like it's not like me pulling a fast one on you. It's
felt like it.
Brendel
Feels like it now.
realizing and observing the way the party acts with each other and how maybe tight-lipped they are even amongst themselves, and attempting to take advantage of it. So Brendel
Yeah.
was a mastermind, everybody.
If anything, I was keeping the Brendel Falzarin conversation hidden as Bryn, because I thought I could use it against Falzarin to like get my way at some point or something.
Yeah, that makes
Like,
sense.
I know what you guys have talked about, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Just more threads that get snipped along with Bryn's life. Cut too short.
Yep.
In her prime, as they would say.
she was in her prime.
Yeah, so what was the question? About
do you feel
I think
about-
these two? So the last time I saw my brother, I assumed he had died, and I knew he had dabbled with the dark arts as a warlock, which is why I knew when Falzarin
Eldritch
cast,
Blast.
Eldritch Blast, that it was a warlock spell, because my brother had used this in the past. And at the time when he did that, I asked Leland, I know what the spell is. Do I know what's going on here? So yeah. Do I think he's worth redeeming? I think he mentions in the episode, that's not my brother anymore.
Right.
Because he was said he has gills, or, he looks like a fish-like creature, I believe you said.
Yeah.
And, so I don't think, we don't know yet, but Shaft is a little torn right now. He just saw his brother raise this kraken from the depths.
No, your brother watched his brother raise a kraken from the depths.
Yes.
Ooh-wee.
Technically,
I know.
Shaft. Yeah.
That's technically true.
Yep.
But I think we all realized that there was no way out of that. If I didn't do it, somebody else was going to do
Absolutely.
And you would have been dead.
it. And we would have been dead. So,
There's that we
yeah.
again. You would have been dead. Falzer and I would have made it out there.
You would have been dead.
Paulson would have crit fail a stealth check again. And
Yeah, exactly.
it's a good thing that chanting was really loud.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you liked the beginning of Chapter 2 as much as we all did, because it was a way to start, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a good batch of episodes.
They were really good. Oh, man, that first episode. Nuts.
Yeah, that worked out timing-wise just about right for an episode, didn't it? When Bryn died.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
that was perfect. That was literally, yeah, it was.
Bryn's dead. Yeah. Wow. It was a really good episode, though. It was a crazy cool fight.
Yep, so we got good stuff coming down the line.
Yeah, it only gets better from here in.
Quite a few already in the bag, and we're getting back on our regular Monday, Thursday releases, and got some special stuff coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah, another set of NPC guests.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun for everyone to be able to hear. Before we wrap it up, I just wanted to mention again, anyone who's listening probably knows about the fact that we're doing giveaways, but there's 2 more coming, so keep your eyes peeled.
Oh God, Emily, stop peeling your eyes.
Ew.
Oh, they're falling out.
So incorrigible of you. I expect nothing less.
Yeah, we were kind of blown away by the response from the first one, so
Yes.
it's starting
Keep
to
it
dwindle now.
coming.
Yeah, but it'll be fun to launch a couple more.
And when are we finishing that one up, Bill?
It was a 2-week.
Yeah, so when this releases, it'll be on the 21st, I think, is when it's over, right?
Yes, that's right.
And this releases on the 20th, so it'll be the next day.
Yeah, so I guess if you haven't entered yet and you want to, head over to Twitter or Instagram.
To win a pair of metal die-hard dice.
Yeah,
Very
they're
pretty dice.
nice.
They're sweet.
Shipping anywhere in the world, we pay for the dice, we pay for the shipping. You can kind of pick from a handful of different options there.
All right.
Wait,
Well-
are you going to sing me a song, Leland? I mean, Bryn a song?
Yeah, you gonna sing Bran a song?
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
Oh.
No way.
All right, you can sing it next time on
Hold
the
on
after
a sec.
party.
Hold on a sec. I did
I didn't expect you to say
hastily
yeah.
prepare something.
Oh no.
Yes.
So, bear with me. I haven't had
nervous.
much time to rehearse.
Is it anything like the Christmas poem that you?
No,
out there?
it is another Thuft-esque parody song. As
Alright.
I'm sorry to any new listeners. I hope this doesn't drive you away. But we have somehow stumbled upon an Incorrigible Party tradition is whenever a major NPC/PC dies, a song is sung in their honor. And to date, I have sung one of them, and one of our beloved NPC guests, Mr. Stephen Bonacore, was kindly obliged and sang Gozer her own send-off song. So I wrote this, and I kind of looked at Bryn and I thought, she seems lost to me. And just kind of finally like reaching out and connecting. So I parodied the police's message in a bottle.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm going to play this in the background so I have the tune. So I...
I did not expect you to go through with it.
Just an orphaned elf grew up in the trees, oh, living a lonely life. Then she heard some bees, oh. She sneaky sneaks with her magic bow. Friendlies adjacent, she'll sneak attack her foes. She died saving falsies, but she died saving falsies. But they stuffed her inside of They stuffed her inside of a body bag of holding.
Yes. Body bag of holding.
That was amazing.
Well done.
Oh, that was awesome.
You need to put the tune softly behind that.
I think so.
that would be
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, we're not popular enough to have to worry about copyright strikes, so we can get
Nah.
away with it.
Yeah, I think we can do it. All right. On that note,
That's awesome. I'm glad we ended on that note.
okay. I've been John and Shaft.
I'm Emily.
I'm Elena. I don't have another name anymore.
I've been Bill and Falzarin.
And I'm Leyland Steele.
I guess I should have said I'm Emily and Shakara. Oh well.
Happy adventuring.
Happy adventuring! This is so awesome. I wish we were recording this.
What?
Well, okay. Elena quotable.
you guys that we haven't been recording all this
No, I meant like video. There's so much going on in the video. I can't believe you rolled a nat 20. This is so fun. Oh yeah.